There. I run into you, unashamed, running to the source, empty handed. I have a lot of trouble. Oh, where do I begin? Let me start with the basic living in America problem, some form of debt or the other. Is it the debt reminders that greet me through the emails I sometimes archive in contempt? Is it the gentle burden of belonging to a family? You know, the beautiful, unbearable weight of being fully a part of people whose blood I share and whose love I was born into? Or is it my body with its sometimes surprising betrayals, the creaks and complaints, its not so polite little reminders that it is not forever? Who knows what I'd wake up to tomorrow morning? Oh, I shred into pieces when I see what's happening in the world. The news, have you seen it lately? Don't even bother with it if you haven't. My friend Lina calls me yesterday and we talked for 14 minutes and 2 seconds about what we heard over the weekend, what is likely coming. By the end, we both just exhaled long and hard, sifting through the pile for some good news. For one, it was not going to rain yesterday. That was good news. I shake. I'm sometimes shaken. Nobody talks about the gift of being shaken. Well, maybe because it's honest work. In the shaking, there's still a part in the psyche that's refusing to go numb, an indication that a thorn is still alive and awake enough to be disturbed. You see, I've met people so armored, so sealed that they no longer shake. I'm not sure that is peace. I think that is just a different kind of trouble. But when I talk about peace, I'm not even referring to that one. Sometimes from the thundering and drench caused by the storms of life, there's just a clear recognition of all that's pouring into the room. I sit with the shaking. I let it be what it is. The house and car notes, the medical bills, the tiredness from my inability to sleep because of the heartburn that showed up because I had dinner 3 minutes after 7 p.m., or the conversations over the phone full of grief, all of which are real life situations. And then Milo crawls up near my feet and stares at me as if to say, "You're doing that human thing again." Yes, Milo. Yes, I am. That recognition, that clear recognition, I've now known it to be present. And I know I use that word loosely in like a coat 2 sizes too big. A coat that I keep stumbling into. And it's not because I went looking for it with clean hands and a devotional strategy, but precisely when I'm the most undone. When the anxiety wraps around my chest like the first time I wore a tie and assumed ties should be super tight on the neck. When the weight of responsibilities, what I've lost, what I can't fix, sits heavy in the room, that's when I notice it. Gosh, how could anyone ever describe this? Now, this presence is in no way an escape plan. It is just something far subtler underneath it. The way the ocean floor is undisturbed while the surface does all its dramatic weathering. I was raised in a faith tradition that gave this presence a name, a gender, a throne. And I still love those images. They're not wrong, they're just smaller than what they're pointing at. The Christian tradition pointed to the view, but somehow everyone worshipped the window. I've pressed my face against enough windows to know this. And then, oh my gosh, I saw the view. Meister Eckhart kept saying things that got him in trouble. He would say that the ground of the soul and the ground of God are one ground, not two things touching, one thing. Rumi would echo the same thing. Teachers like Nisargadatta would emphasize the pointer, I am, and let that be the entire teaching. But that easily flies over our heads. These folks, it turns out, were all pointing at the same embarrassing simplicity. That what we are looking for is the same thing doing the looking. And still, what looks at what we call trouble. I found out rather late that the contemplative path is not a lifestyle upgrade. It is not stress management with incense. It does not remove the trouble. What it does, and I say this with the hesitancy of someone who has been surprised by it all, what it does is reveal that the trouble does not touch what we fundamentally are. And it's not by avoiding the said trouble. If we could ever even avoid it. By going so deeply into it that we fall through the floor into something that cannot be shaken. Oh, but Jesus, is that not what the Christian scripture was referring to when, quoting of Jesus, it said, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I will overcome the world. This is what I mean when I say I run into you unashamed. Not at the end of a long purification, not once I've sorted out the finances and repaired the relationships and given my cortisol levels that inflate my belly when I get it under control. It's right here with the mess still on the table, with the shaking still in my chest, unashamed because shame assumes there's a proper version of oneself that should show up first. There just isn't. There's just this, exactly this, running headlong into the arms of something that was never keeping score. But when I run into the arms of the lover, and here the tears come, they bleed from my eyes like a confession. I know the pain will not vanish. I'm not promised a painless life. I can only choose not to suffer. I'm not promised resolution or neat endings or only good news. The world will still be the world. The interactions, unfavorable economic conditions, etc., will still need to be tackled. The body will still have its opinions. But everything returns to the source. Everything. Even the trouble. Even the shaking. It all folds back into the same silence it came from. The Tao Te Ching, I think it's chapter 16, would say, all creatures in the universe return to the point where they begun. Returning to the source is tranquility because we submit to heaven's mandate. Returning to heaven's mandate is called being constant. Knowing the constant is called enlightenment. And the lover, I should tell you about the lover. It is not a he, though I acknowledge a he in devotional liturgical orations. Jeez, is that even correct English? Not a she, because I've wept to she. Not an it, like it's this cold clinical thing. Not a concept, not a theology, not the conclusion of a good argument. It is the very thing this vapor of me dissolves into. Yes, I used it again. Damn it. Maybe because it cannot be fully qualified, cannot be contained in a pronoun or a doctrine or even a poem. And I say that knowing I just tried to write one. Or maybe I just need to shut up. Maybe the most honest thing I can offer you in this writing, my dear co-explorer, is this silence. This one. The silence on the other side of all these words is not empty. It is full and doesn't wait for us to get it together to open. So we can run unashamed.